Hi, this is Tony Lin. Welcome to my video. If McDonald's is going to offer you these experimental and artificial meat hamburger, and they tell you our artificial meat hamburger is 100% safe and delicious, are you going to believe them and eat this hamburger? I believe most people will say no first, and they will wait for the more data and safety issues available before they make their decision whether to eat this experimental and artificial hamburger meat. However, during this pandemic, there are lots of people, not only they will say yes. If you are cautious about this artificial meat hamburger, and this group of people will call you hamburger hesitancy. And some of them even call you an anti-hamburger. That is one of the most ridiculous things I ever heard during this pandemic. If you know some people from this group and they tell you that they are well informed during this pandemic because they get all their information from the mainstream media like CNN, CNBC, and CBS, these mainstream media sponsored by the big pharma. Please do me a favor and share the following video with them.
Is brought to you by Pfizer.
CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer.
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press Data Download, brought to you by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer. On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
So they thought that they are watching the news. In fact, they are watching the advertisement from the big pharma. And if you ever seen any advertisement from McDonald's claim that their hamburger are not safe and not delicious, please leave comment below and let me know. So how could you expect you can see any truth from the mainstream media that are sponsored by the big pharma? That is why from time to time in my video, I show you the data from Denmark, from United Kingdom, from Singapore, from India. From those countries, the big pharma, they don't have full controls on these countries' data. In today's video, I'm going to show you the data from Hong Kong. And hopefully, by sharing this Hong Kong's data with you, we can get an idea how safe and how effective is this product from the big pharma. So here I get the data from this legit website. It's from ourworlddata.org. I will include the link for you in case you want to see this data. So here I select the two countries just for the comparison. So I select the Hong Kong and the United States. In the United States, we start drinking this Kool-Aid earlier than Hong Kong. We start drinking this Kool-Aid around December. As you can see, it's around December 13, 2020. And Hong Kong start drinking this Kool-Aid around February 24, 2021. Around February 9th, the Hong Kong's fully Kool-Aid people in the percentage of the population surpassed the United States. So around March, so as of today, you can see the fully Kool-Aid people, the fully Kool-Aid population percentage in Hong Kong is 71%. 71% is pretty high compared to the United States. If you consider the United States is high, the Hong Kong is even higher. And also, let me share you this link. So according to this link, we know There are two major Kool-Aid used in Hong Kong, and both of them got 7.1 million of those. And these, one of them is called Biotech Fosun Pharma. This is the same type of the Kool-Aid from the Pfizer, and it is just another name used in Hong Kong. So both of them are provided to Hong Kong for 7.5 million of doses. Consider the total population in Hong Kong is also 7.5 million. So I believe already very considerable of the population in Hong Kong already administered with the Pfizer Kool-Aid. Let's go back to our word in data, and here you can see this is the graph for Hong Kong and the United States, the daily new confirmed cases per million people. The red line represents the United States, the green line represents Hong Kong. So if you look at Hong Kong's cases from the beginning of this pandemic to until today, you will see that their cases is almost zero all the time during this pandemic. And however, around the beginning of the March, you can see a very steep increase. It is much higher than the peak of the United States daily cases. If you see the next graph, this graph is the people who went to heaven, number of the people who went to heaven. And you can also see the same result compared to the United States and Hong Kong. And you can see the entire pandemic, Hong Kong is almost flat. However, there was a steep increase around the beginning of the March of this year. And it is much higher than any time during this pandemic happened in the United States. Keep in mind, I'm comparing to the per million people. Although the population in Hong Kong and in the United States, they are much different. So we know that before this outbreak, their fully Kool-Aid rate is already pretty high, around the 70%. So my question to ask here, if this Kool-Aid is so safe and so effective, how come after around the 70% of the population already fully Kool-Aided, and we still see the biggest outbreak, and it is much bigger outbreak than any time happened in the United States per million population in terms of the cases and or in terms of the number of the people who went to heaven? Or both of them are much higher than any time during this pandemic in the United States. So my question here, I'm just asking a question. I'm not saying this is not safe and effective. I believe this is safe and effective. I'm just asking a reasonable question. If this product is so safe and so effective, how come I cannot see a single correlation that suggests this Kool-Aid is very safe and effective? So if you think the data I provide today is informative, please share this data with more people, especially for those people they fully support the big pharma's media campaign. We need to let them realize the truth. Otherwise, not only they will keep eating this experimental hamburger, and if you don't eat this experimental hamburger with them, they will make you look ridiculous by calling you hamburger hesitancy or anti-hamburger. In fact, they are the ridiculous people. However, we cannot blame them because they are brainwashed by the mainstream media, which are sponsored by the big pharma. We need to share the data and the truth with them, so one day they can truly wake up from these mainstream media's narrative. Thank you for watching today's video. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye.